is Andrea Ojeda. I'm a first-year student, and I'm a political science major.
Okay. What stood out to you in your hand map?
I think what stood out the most to me is how I grew kind of my story about like immigrating, starting over from scratch, and just attending college in general. Also, probably the feelings of like struggle and impatience.
What feelings come to mind when you thought of the COVID-19 pandemic?
Struggle. And just when it comes to COVID-19, I think what the feeling that comes out to me is just the quarantine in general. Yeah.
What is one thing you feel you gained from the pandemic?
Self-confidence.
And who has been surrounding you as your support system through it all?
My mom, my dad, my sister, my cousins, and my brother.
So whereabouts were you born?
Where was I born? Venezuela. I was born in South America, yes. Caracas, Venezuela.
And where would define home for you right now?
Queens. It's actually my home.
Mm-hmm. And how long have you been in the Charlotte area?
I've been in Charlotte for 7 years now.
And would you just be able to describe your experience during the last 2 years and your time like during the COVID-19 pandemic?
The past 3 years have been hard. I've been struggling a lot just because obviously with this like all new procedures and like just the mask stuff was a little hard because I'm a person that's a hugger and I love to just be close to people. So the first year after COVID and us just like, you know, having to keep like a social distance was hard. Because I really couldn't express myself as much as I wanted to.
Do you feel like it hindered your ability to like have connections and relationships with people?
Absolutely. I think that little by little people started getting used to the fact that because of the social distancing, we don't really have to have some sort of connection because we have social media. But I generally believe that that's not how really people bond.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. And do you remember the early days, like when obviously you were in high school at the time? Like,
Yes.
Do you remember like what those few days were like when it stopped and it all shut down?
So I remember that I was very happy the first 2 weeks because it was, you know, like kind of a spring break. I kind of had a better vacation, a longer vacation. But obviously throughout the days when COVID was just like hitting a little harder and like the news were just going all over the place, I felt like I was kind of in a crisis where I didn't really know what to do with my time, with just myself and how to deal with like just some sources that I was going through at home.
Mm-hmm.
So I do remember just sitting in my room, like kind of planning, like, oh, let's work out. Like, I'll do this meal, I'll bake, I'll like do something with my sister, I'll do something with my brother. But obviously at times, you know, it would be just like a repetitive routine. So I kind of just got tired of it and started wondering what exactly it was going to do. So I kind of started to struggle again.
And did you struggle with the like social distancing requirements when you came back to school?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It was it was a huge thing because again, I like to talk to my professors like face to face and like say like hi and like hug them and like just do handshakes and stuff like, but obviously we weren't allowed to do so. So it was hard for me the first year when I came back after COVID to just make such connections with people.
And how did you feel doing school online when you have to do it from home? Was that something that you found difficult?
Yeah, I'm more of a face-to-face person when it comes to learning. I don't think I'm really I'm not saying that it wasn't like easy enough because obviously just doing online school is pretty hard, but easy at the same time. I just think that I have a learning, I just learn better when it comes to just doing in person.
And how did your like friendships or your like family relationships change during the pandemic?
With my family, it wasn't. With the pandemic, it got better.
Mhm.
I think we gained more time, so we gained more bonding, which it was nice to do because I wasn't really close to my parents as much as I am now. And towards friendships, just the distancing and not hanging out was kind of a problem because they were just my high school friends. Like I would just see them at school. So it was kind of hard. But then it also, for some reason, we started like doing FaceTime and like just doing like Crazy Eight or like just playing pool with everyone on iMessage. And somehow we kind of got close, but it was still kind of a struggle because we weren't really together. So we didn't really know what to do and how to make our bond even stronger, if that makes sense.
Do you feel like it was hard to maintain the connections?
Probably.
You didn't have that face-to-face?
Just quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. And you said that your family definitely got closer. In like what ways? Was it the experience of like going through the pandemic together? Was it that you were having more time together?
Yeah, because of my parents, they work a lot. So they weren't really home. And I was always at school where like I was doing extracurriculars, so I would get home pretty late from school. So when we got into the pandemic, obviously at some points we were fighting, we were arguing because we weren't really used to being together for that period of time. But, we started doing like just games and like working out together, which it just kind of made things better. I could trust my mom better. I had a talk with her and sat down and said, like, this is like what's been happening to me. So I definitely think I just gained trust from that pandemic with my parents.
It's like kind of time stop for everyone. And to just go through it together.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And do you feel like it's impacted your learning experience? Do you feel like when you came to college or even now still currently that you're like a little bit behind because of what the pandemic did?
Yes. Just because I was used to a pace. And obviously not only students, but also like teachers and professors didn't really know how to get back on track and just say like, this is how we were learning. And then we went to online and then we went back to learning. So everything was just a little messy. But I definitely do think that sometimes I'm a little behind just because obviously since I did everything online, it was like, oh, I'll just find this on Google. Like, it's fine. I'm not really going to do it. So I was very used to before coming here just finding everything through Quizlet and just submit it in 100. That would be all. So it definitely did affect my learning experience.
Yeah. And what did you miss most during the pandemic?
Going out with my friends. Even though they were only like my high school friends, I would only hang out with them in high school. We would like do just like, just activities at school that would make it fun. And also just with my family, obviously everyone in my family, we live in different states. So it was just that we couldn't go to Florida, we couldn't travel, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that because we were quarantined. So I definitely miss hanging out with my family and my friends.
Mm-hmm. And do you think the pandemic changed your routine? Like I know that you said that you kind of had to put more structure in your day. Do you think that's affected you up until now?
Yes, I have to have my little calendar and put all the things that I have to do throughout the day so I'll be able to do it, which I think it's a good thing that the pandemic taught me.
Kind of made you more structured probably in your organization. What were some challenges that you faced during the pandemic?
So I know that I said that like what's one thing that I gained from the pandemic was self-confidence, but I was still yet dealing with that. I was never really self-confident with myself. I always like used to think that I don't look good on this, like I just don't look good in general. So it was something that definitely took me time and also just get comfortable with my own body. So I was dealing with that, but little by little I started getting better. It was great.
And what do you think have been some long-lasting consequences of the pandemic?
Long-lasting consequences would probably be just getting a little behind with my life and my education and learning new things. Since English, it's my second language. I was expecting to just be out there more and know more about like the context of like what the language is really about and what things I can learn better from it, so I can have like a better, just language in general.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing that I still until this day struggle with.
Yes, what do you think your future will look like after everything that's happened?
Okay, so I think it's gonna look a little weird. However, I definitely do think that I'm going to be successful. And this is because even though so many business and even though it's like so many things from my major have closed, there's been opportunities for all of these people that have made them be bigger. So I think that's going to be good for myself, and that not only for me, but for everyone else that's around me.
Mm-hmm. Do you think that the pandemic changed at all what you thought you would do? Do you think that it altered, like, did you think before the pandemic you had a different idea of your future than you do now?
Yeah, 100%. It was completely different. I don't think I was even thinking about coming to Queens. I don't think I was even like thinking really about going to college, even though it was something that my parents told me to do. It wasn't really focused on, do I really want to go to college? Do I really want to continue? But the pandemic actually like pursued me to get my education and to just be better in school. So I was very happy in some way that happened, that the pandemic happened.
Cool. I think those were all my questions.